All right, welcome. This will be a forward-looking session. It'll be for CIAM practitioners, digital or experience executives, and anyone focused on growth for their consumer services. Factors of Convenience will explore new challenges in an upcoming passwordless world, and we will help guide you in your journey with CIAM. During this session, we'll set the stage with some CIAM history and where we are going. We'll look at an example of maybe like an ideal login page and some of the decisions that went into creating that. We'll walk through new challenges that will come from a post-passwordless state or from a post-password state. Then we'll identify how to assess the impact of those challenges and help you prioritize. And finally, we'll close with the components and the patterns that will help solve and mitigate these new challenges. My name is Andrew Conforti, and I am a CIAM Architect for the Auth0 team here at Okta. I work directly with many of our Okta customers in retail, HR, healthcare, communications, and technology to help those businesses enhance and secure their consumer experiences. So let's set the stage. The story of CIAM moves along with the progression of digitized consumer services. Most of us started with some basic initial offerings, maybe one app for e-commerce or maybe a warranty claim site. But then we moved on to the expectation that all brand experiences have a digital equivalent. Things like online-only banks became a thing. And with all of that movement of value and experience online, we had to shift to protect it. Part of that protection is to retire one of the biggest attack targets, the password. Now, you listening in here that probably represent a vast range of where you are in this journey, but it's now pretty rare to consider passwords as part of your long-term future. So we'll talk about an ideal state after passwords. I work with businesses every day looking to figure out what CIAM should be for them. This kind of represents the screen here and overall an average of what you could say their desires are for what a login page should look like. Think of it as a greenfield conversation piece for us to talk about what life's going to be like after passwords. So why is this what's on the screen? Why does this reflect what many businesses want to offer? Number one, we have a mobile-first strategy. We have the dominant mobile OS related social accounts supported here. So you can sign up or log in with Google and do the same with Apple. Passkeys ensure high security posture with low friction, and it also supports demographics that may dislike social sign-up. We're also assuming a few things here, that the users could store a passkey, or that the user is already authenticated in some platform that matches their operating system. But we're no longer assuming that the user wants to or can remember a password, or that they will cross that barrier of effort to create a new account. So what did we change here when we left the password? We now have multiple paths. The user has to choose. Are they going to use a passkey? Are they going to use their Google account, their Apple account, right? And no longer are they just defaulting to the standard pattern that they've grown to know and hate of username and password, email and password, things like that. But they have to pick one of these paths. The friction is also reduced. That's a really good thing. But with that reduced effort, we also reduce, or that reduced cognitive effort, we also reduce the user's retention, their memory of the experience. It's a whole lot easier to remember something that was difficult than something that was seamless. And also we improved security, right? There's a big win for that. Passkey is significantly more secure, and most social providers that are dominant in the space have improved security postures than just having a straight username and password, right? Having MFA, bot detection, all those kinds of things rolled in. All right. So what are these new challenges? Let's talk through them. For all of us in the room, we take our accounts, our digital identities, pretty seriously, and security as well. Your prospective customers, not always going to care as much. While we're limited in our data sets of truly passwordless experiences out in the wild, we still have feedback from our consumers around this type of approach. And I want you to keep in mind that not every app or account is as important to your user as like an email or a bank account or their work account. Because of this, we should expect some new challenges. A user thinking, I don't remember if I made an account. I think I made one, pretty sure I did, but how did I make it? And choosing wrong or remembering wrong can be damaging to your brand, to your service. If they pick Google instead of Apple the next time they visit, boom, this app's broken. Where's my stuff? Where's my data? My profile's empty. Where are my points, my orders, whatever content populates the application from the previous experience or the previous visit. And we know all too well the sentiment, I'll deal with it later. A lot of times there is no later. That might never happen. Your customer might be gone. So when are we going to see this kind of scenario pop up? Is your experience something everyone uses daily, or is it once a month or once a year? My TurboTax has gone through a few account resets because guess what? I don't log into that very frequently. It's a once a year thing. I have my tax season, I get done, and I never really want to go do that again. So what's going on when your user signed up? Were they in line to check out at your store? Were they at the airport trying to get an account set up to retain miles? The world we live in is increasingly distracting, and we need to build experiences that can handle that level of distraction. Did your user sign up on their other device? Or did they just replace their device and not restore from a backup? These are all really common things that cause users to fall off in terms of their engagement and thus effectively their loyalty. When these scenarios occur, you risk a customer abandoning the login. If they can't find a way to easily come back, you will harm loyalty to your brand, the engagement with your app, and they might also just create a bunch of extra accounts that nobody wants to deal with, not your customer, not you. During this session, we're going to try to look at the impact here and try to understand what to look for. In CIAM, like most technology spaces, there's an infinite number of good things we can do. How would you know this problem is your problem? A few things. You will see a device return but abandon login, right? A user doesn't remember what to do. They're stuck with that choice, and then they just give up or get distracted with something else. You'll see devices that are signing up for multiple accounts, right? And then you'll have support tickets or complaints or app reviews of missing profiles or missing app history. Depending on the sophistication of your data, you might also need to look for if you have too many abandoned logins, if you have just dead accounts that no one returns to, or if you have users trying to sign up when they already have an account with that factor. So what can we do about this? Before we get into solving, you're going to need some components. These might be some APIs. We're here at API Days, part of at AuthCon. You will need some user flows, ways to guide the user through an experience. Most of these should be tools you already know and have access to, but the way you make use of them to solve these challenges is going to be pretty different. We're going to also assume that you've already figured out how to secure a long life session to reduce logins. Your biggest defense against all of these challenges are with passkeys. They're much more secure than a password, but it's important for the challenge today that they are discoverable. Passkey management apps help remind the user that one exists for the app or website. Here we see some examples of those reminders, these pop-ups from Google and Apple, another one from 1Password on a browser. They help the user know that they have a passkey for this site. They also allow cross-device authentication, where one device logs in the other. This is really great for a disorganized user that doesn't have all of their devices set up with the same configuration, things aren't set up on the same platform, and they're not talking to each other. Finally, passkeys can be synced if the user is set up for sync passkeys. That's not always the case. But when it is, the same backend account like their Google or their iCloud account will hold the passkey from one device and make it available to the other, so they don't have to manage them or enroll them per device. This was one of the big challenges with when we rolled out biometrics, that it was device bound. But not everyone will use a passkey, so we still have more work to do other than just offering passkeys. Here we've got a little bit of an account linking flow. If your user has created multiple accounts, you may be able to detect that state. Attributes like phone number and email are useful for this kind of detection. It's a good idea to verify these attributes before using them to consider linking accounts. And once detected, think about if your user should consent to linking. Depending on the use case, there may be value in having a single user having multiple accounts too. So you don't necessarily want to force this. Finally, you must have the user authenticate the second account with the other factor. Without this, you open up significant risk for account takeovers. Once that authentication occurs with the detected factor, the user should experience a merged or unified profile and no longer perceive that the different authentication factors have different results in the app experience. For experiences that still have passwords or less than ideal factors, right? We talked about the social logins before. Giving your users a way to upgrade an account can improve future logins, reduce the challenge of recalling their account, or just give them more options for recovery. Depending on the first factor used, offer an additional upgraded factor. This is also a great place to prompt and ask the user to enroll in a passkey. The rest of the steps of this flow are the same. Both factors should result in the same profile and account experience. Now notice when we're doing these things, we're using tooling that you already have in your implementation. But the order and where we're using them in the flow is not just at the front door with the login. Whether your user is on a new device or maybe they just forgot, they might be still creating a second account using another factor, and you won't always be able to detect this. Instead, we're going to look for the pattern and the interfaces you have after login to help provide a guardrail. So this is the where's my stuff path, right? So when your user notices their stuff is missing, right, and that's in the context of your use case, what's inside your application, we can identify this emptiness. Maybe that's a user going straight to their the number of points they have, right, if we're talking about a loyalty app. Maybe that's them going straight to the order history. All right, I want to see if my order's coming in. If we can detect this emptiness, we can guide the user to add the missing factors and then again link the accounts. A page for your points, your orders, any of the key value information that your application surfaces are the places where you want to consider providing a link or an option or an invitation to enroll that missing factor and effectively recover or heal the account. So to recap, we aren't done after passwords. There will still be human challenges in consumer identity. The challenges, for the most part, are known. We can predict them, we know how to measure them, and we have some good ideas on how to mitigate them. We can reuse our tool sets and APIs, but those solutions require a flexible IAM state to be able to remix the order and the way you're using those same capabilities. While this is fairly forward-looking, we do have some early best practices. One, to offer passkeys for new signups. This reduces the problem from day one. The more users that opt into this, the better of the experience they're going to have. We can also predict the empty profile path, right? And guide the customer to a recovery state where no matter which of the factors they selected on which device, they're going to get to their account correctly. We can also upgrade existing accounts to passkeys and reduce the risk for those users having this same experience. This is all part of making this new convenience easier. So thank you for the time today. I look forward to seeing all of your passwordless experiences out in the wild, and have a good day.